Hello, I don't know if the English journalists can hear me, but I just wanted to let you know that the first part of the press conference will be devoted to players, so there will be an opportunity to ask questions to player, and the second part will be for the coach and the manager. Thanks.
Focus. Yeah. Anche la questione del circo però devi
I will repeat, the first part of the press conference will be devoted to the players and the second part to the coach and the manager.
Ok? Aspetta quando. Ok? Ciao. Basta foto, grazie.
Good evening, Marek. Sorry, there is a problem with the audio. Sorry, we can't hear. There is a problem with the audio. Sorry.
Una parte di musica per la televisione della tua nazionale non poteva.
Sorry. But I can't hear, there's a massive interference in the audio.
It's okay.
Okay, so we try to face this challenge. We know we will be playing against a side that plays wonderful football. Hello, Mark. Everybody expects a fantastic match. Man City versus Napoli is the best when we talk about a certain type of football. Do you expect 0-0? No, I hope not. I hope not for the supporters. But as I said, it's a fascinating challenge. Both teams play very spectacular football. But I am sure that supporters will have the opportunity to watch two teams that want to play the best football. If we want, I'm sorry, but I can't really hear very well. There's a problem with the audio. I'm very sorry. There is a problem with the audio.
Can you go by just this for the time being?
Sorry?
Can you go by just the just what you can hear for the time being while I try and
yeah, well, I can't really hear.
Okay.
Our objective is the same. We want to play well. We want to win matches. We know that tomorrow it won't be easy because we are playing a very, very strong team, but we know we can play well, we can do well. Our objective is to do our best, and we want to qualify, and we want to go on to the next stage. At the moment we're focusing on tomorrow. It will be a fantastic evening, but it will be a difficult match.
Abbiamo parlato sempre tanto, forse addirittura troppo, del 115esimo gol, che quest'anno vai un attimo con un rendimento al di sotto delle tue abitudini, perché di questi tempi è sempre stato un giorno una scelta un'ossessione.
It's not as I said, the important thing is the result, and it's winning points. We know we're doing well in the league, and we also We know that we didn't play well in the Ukraine, so it was fair that we lost. But we played very well in all the other matches, so we have to carry on like this. Good evening, Mark. I wanted to ask you, quite often in football we say, oh, this is my dream, I would like my dream to come true. So I'm asking you this question as the captain of Napoli. You have to play this important match. What's your dream as captain of Napoli? My dream is always to win something important. Tomorrow is one of 60 matches we have to play this year, but it's a very important match to progress on to the next stage in Champions League. So it's very important for us, it's important for our supporters. I'm sure it's going to be like a very good match, and every player would like to play this kind of match. Good evening, Mark. Up to now in Champions, we saw 3 teams that were of higher quality than Feyenoord. When you play away, how do you manage the goal difference issue? Because that caused you a lot of problem with Benitez 3 years ago. Obviously, that is important too. In Champions, everything is important, every little detail is important, so we have to pay attention to everything. The important thing is gaining points. If you win points, then you can go on to the next stage. So we have to try and win as many points as possible. Manchester City is the team that we must beat in the group phase, so it will be very important to gain points tomorrow. Good evening. You said it's very important to win, but in the past 6 years, how has Napoli changed? What is different in the team? Has it got a different spirit? It's great to be back here and to have the opportunity to play one of the strongest teams in Europe. 6 years ago, Man City was not playing at this level, but Napoli has also grown a lot. I would even say that Napoli has grown more than Man City. We have worked very hard and we are very happy to have qualified for the Champions League for the 2nd consecutive year, and we always want to do better. As I said, this Napoli is playing very well. Tomorrow it will be a difficult match, but it's the best Napoli I've ever played in. Mark, domanda in inglese. Se segnerà domani, avrà segnato lo stesso numero di gol di Maradona per Napoli, cosa vorrà dire per lei in una partita di Champions o addirittura raggiungere questo traguardo? Sarà un enorme onore per lei. Mi sente? Mi sente adesso? It would be great. Sorry, there was an issue with the interpretation. It would be great to score tomorrow and to equal Maradona's score. It would be important for me, but the most important for me is my team and the performance of my team. That's more important than my personal opportunity to score. Of course, I will be happy if I score, but all we want is leave this stadium with points. Radio Rai. I have the feeling that my players play better in the league than in Champions. That's what has been said about Napoli. What can you say about this as captain, as team captain? As I already said, in the Ukraine we didn't play well. we got everything wrong. So we didn't deserve to win. We played better with Feyenoord, although it was not an optimum performance, but we managed to win 3-0, which is an important result in terms of goal difference. Oh, sorry, I can't remember what I was saying. So an important result in terms of goal difference, but playing champions, you are playing onto a different level. You're playing against the strongest European teams. It's not the same as playing in the National League. We're here to meet the strongest team in Europe, and tomorrow we will be meeting one of them. Thank you, Mark. A question from Sky. Good evening. I would like to ask you whether the events in the National League could have repercussions on the concentration of your players. If we think about what happened in the derby and also last Saturday. If we want to talk about the importance of qualifying, probably tomorrow is not as important. Man City plays at a different level than the other teams in the group. So I think Man City will win the group. The matches against the other teams could be decisive for us. Then obviously, if one of the other teams will manage to take away a few points from City, that will be great for us. It will greatly help us. Tomorrow we are representing Italy in one of the most important stadiums in Europe. 3 days ago we had to face Roma in Rome. Today we're here. In a few days' time we will be facing Inter. So I think the way the schedule was organized is wrong. If you think of the last day of the season, which will be decisive for us, I don't know about Juventus, but we have a Napoli versus Juventus. This shows that the people that prepared the schedule within the league didn't do a good job. What's our attitude, our approach? If we want to be a strong team, we have to play difficult matches. We don't just want to be a presence on the pitch. We have to be able to raise our game and to play in all the most important tournaments. And this is the most important club tournament in the world. And it's obviously, if you have to rise up to the challenge, then you focus a lot more, and I think that's what we're doing. Good evening. I go back to what Pep Guardiola said before. He said lots of nice things about you and your team. He even said that he hopes his players have seen the way you play, the pressing game you play, and so on. But then there was this interview in the Gazzetta where your chairman said that maybe you should rest some players. What are you thinking about tomorrow? Since you have just said that tomorrow's match is not so important to qualify, and also what will be attitude tomorrow? I would like to thank Pep Guardiola because he said lots of really nice his compliments are very welcome, because at the moment he's the strongest manager in the world. 25 years ago, Arrigo Sacchi was a pioneer, with his groundbreaking ideas. But in a few years' time, we will see that Guardiola will have been equally influential on football. So if somebody like Pep Guardiola compliments us, we have a very high opinion of him, and we think he's a great manager. So we're very pleased to hear all the nice things he said about us. At the moment, I don't think we should be too worry too much about this. If we replace a couple of players and we are not competitive, then it means that as a collective we are not competitive. Yes, there can be an issue with top players having to play very often, but we're not making any calculations. We will see tomorrow morning how the players are, and then we will make a decision. We won't be thinking about the next match, only about tomorrow's match. These matches like this, they have got a very high emotional contact, but they have also to be analyzed rationally. Do you think you will ask your team to play a little bit differently, or would you want them to play as usual? I would like to die a sudden death, if I have to, not to die a very slow, painful death. So when you have to play a very tactically savvy team, such as Man City, when you have to play a team which is very technically gifted and also very well prepared from a physical point of view, they are very fast, very quick, and they are also very focused. You have to be careful not to overthink things. We have to focus on our game, and we know that they could be superior to us on the pitch. We play a similar type of football. From a technical point of view, and from the point of view of speed, they might be slightly better than us. If it was enough to change tactics to beat very strong teams, then there would have never been legendary teams in the history of football, because all you would need to do would be to change tactics and everything will be fine. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. It will be a difficult match. All I'm asking of my players is not to be fearful, to respect our opponents, but not to fear them. If you respect them, then you expect to have a hard time, but fear instead paralyzes you and prevents you from doing your best. We want to defend well, and then we want to attack well, and I would like to see 11 people who believe in themselves and who believe they can keep the ball vis-a-vis Man City. Maybe it's impossible, but we have to be a little bit crazy like that. They are stronger than us. If we do not believe in ourselves and we are not a little bit crazy, then what's the point? Good evening. Could this be your dream match? Especially if we see the 22 players on the pitch. Could this be your dream match? The one you would have always wanted to manage? Well, to be honest, tomorrow night, even if it had been a slightly less emotionally charged match, I would have been fine. the feeling I get from my team now, and also from Man City watching play, I didn't even get when I played Real Madrid last year. I've always felt that my team could give the opponents a very hard time, no matter what the opponent is. But this time, watching Man City, I think they are a formidable team, and it's not just a feeling, like figures confirm my impression. But as I said earlier, if we want to play at a certain level, we have to be able to play at a certain level in important matches, and we have to aim at achieving results. It's not easy to change your attitude, but that's what we have to do. Good evening. If you plan to make any replacements, as we were saying earlier, do you think these replacements will happen in midfield? Well, we'll have to see tomorrow and then decide. No, it's because the midfield is the midfielders are the roles that have to work harder. I think in the last 6 matches, the only replacement we have made consistently is Rock. Maybe he didn't go on the pitch in all 6 matches, but at least in 4 of them. So we are bearing him in mind. Good evening. I would like to ask, I don't know how many Man City matches you have watched, and I am pretty sure you watched loads of them. But obviously, absolute perfection doesn't exist in football. So, having watched all of the Man City matches, haven't you not found a weak point on which you could work? Do you truly believe that it's only up to Napoli to focus a bit harder? But if it was enough to focus harder, then we would have solved all our problems. We were talking about a team that scored 17 goals in the last 3 matches in the Premier League. If we think of the 7-2 to Stoke, we might be inclined to think that Stoke were weak in defence, but that's not true. And you might even think, can they conceded twice, or maybe Man City was struggling in defence, but that was not the case. It was a very difficult match. Even when they lose the ball, Man City can regain the ball very quickly. They are very competitive. They can arrive on the ball first. They're very quick. They might seem to become unbalanced, but that's not the case on the pitch. They are always very quick to attack, to go for the ball when they lose it. So I have watched a few matches. I haven't watched all of them because I didn't want to get too low, too depressed. But I saw a team play in a way that you rarely see, maybe once in a decade. I think Man City is by far the strongest team in Europe at the moment. Good evening.